Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, and I go by the name of Teho or Tsohofato in full, which means blessing. So I welcome you all to my channel, and as stated by the title of the video, today we will be talking about a dangerous device that's really penetrated deep into our society nowadays, and I'm one of the victims, hence why I'm actually talking to you guys about this thing. Ne? Um, so, um, the device is called hookah. So, um, some people can, some people, okay, it depends on where you come from. Some people call it hookah, some people call it shisha, some people call it habli, some people even call it scaife. Even though scaife just means smoke, but yeah, some people call it scaife. When you say scaife, they already understand what it means. So I'm gonna show you the device that I'm actually talking about. It comes in different shapes, sizes, different pipes. Depending on how many individuals will be smoking the hookah. So it comes in different types. So this is hookah. This is what we call a hookah. Ne? Um, I call it a habli. So this is what we call a habli. This is a two-pipe habli. So it means that, never mind this side. I've just blocked it off with a piece of toilet paper. This is where the pipe goes in. So basically, this thing has really penetrated our society. And honestly speaking, we are kind of what do you call this? We are kind of overshadowing this thing, ne? And acting as though um, there's nothing wrong with this thing. This thing is bad, guys. This thing is it's bad because it's addictive, ne? And no one wants to admit. No one wants to admit that this thing is addictive, especially people who smoke it. Ne? I'm not here to bash people who actually smoke this thing. If you're smoking it and you enjoy it, kudos to you. If you have no side effects, hey, good for you. But I'm just saying this thing based on my personal experience and um, to share what I've actually encountered and I've actually came to understand with this thing. Ne? So let me just put it down before we start. Ne? So this thing, guys, ne, um, it's so it starts. Honestly speaking, this thing is so it's so deep in our youth nowadays, ne, that we tend to overlook it. Ne? Um, so here's the thing. Nowadays, I feel as though like if you are a youngster, you are frowned upon when you smoke, like when you smoke cigarettes. Oh, so I just feel as though this thing is just a substitute to cigarettes. Honestly speaking, it's just a substitute to cigarettes, and it's a substitute because the youth, even our young adults or our adults in general, who actually smoke this thing, they state that this thing is not addictive and this thing has no side effects or whatsoever. So it's nothing compared to a cigarette. Alright? And I would like to debunk that. I feel as though this thing is super addictive. This thing is made out of tobacco. It's got tobacco and it's got nicotine. So those are all things that are which contribute to addiction. You craving it. Alright? This thing people crave this thing. Trust me, people do crave this thing, and they crave it so much to a point that they can't go a day without actually smoking this thing. Ne? So I feel as though people have this thing of saying this thing does not have any side effects. There's nothing wrong. There's never been anything reported. Like you can actually tell by the things that people are saying about this thing that they're actually vouching for it as though like it's something that's good. It's better than a cigarette, and it's no better than a cigarette, honestly speaking, if not worse, guys. So here's the thing, ne? Just want to quickly pull up my notes here. I made some notes. So where do we buy this thing? This thing is normally you can actually purchase it at some Indian shops. There are shisha shops as well. some Chinese shops which actually shall sell this thing. It depends on the design, the amount of pipes that are actually uh, that you actually looking for. Sometimes you find that there's a number of people that will be in your group, so you probably want 3 4 5 pipes, so it depends on how many pipes you want, and how many people will be smoking. So you can buy this thing at any one of those stores or retailers that I just mentioned. So there are things that actually go with it that you need to buy for it in order for it to work. So there is something called a flavor, and there is something called a charcoal. There are charcoals that you buy as well for this. Ne? There's different kinds of charcoal. You get cubes which are like 4 corner like, and you also got your traditional charcoal tablets, ne? Which are fast lighting, and then there is the cube ones. Normally, a lot of people just buy stoves and just light it on. Yeah. So that's where you buy those things. That's what you actually buy for your hobby. And why do we actually smoke this thing? Ne? So a lot of times I feel as though like people smoke this thing just to kill time. Initially, that's what they thought. Okay? Just to kill time. But wait, before I actually get there, people were just smoking this thing just for fun initially, ne? And nowadays it's they say they're smoking it just to kill time. Because honestly speaking, a Hubley session would last you for anything between an hour to 1 hour 30 minutes. It depends how many people are smoking it. Look, if it's just you're looking at anything about above an hour. If it's you and a friend, an hour and below. If it's you and a friend, you get it. More mouths that are actually pulling onto this thing, the less you'll get. Yeah. So as mentioned, people say it's there to kill time. And another thing, because as I've mentioned, it's a youth thing, so it attracts your mates. Basically, it attracts boys and it attracts girls. Or I'm saying this based on experience. Look, if when we used to go, or when I still go out to a party, you know, you'll still find that a lot of girls, when you get there and you put your hubby down and people want to join you, you find that a lot of girls and boys would come to your area, your little circle, and will request to smoke with you, which is something. Look, a lot of people are willing, but the problem is that it depends. I feel like, especially as a girl, you need to be careful which hubblies you smoke and request, because a lot of guys are not true about what they actually put inside the head of the hubbly. Ne? So this is the head. This is the head, and this is where you pour your flavor on top. Ne? On top is where you pour your flavor inside, and then you've got your foil, which you just secure your flavor underneath, and then this is on top is where you put your charcoal. So inside, a lot of times, some guys will put some weed or some other things, some other drugs. So I think, yeah, we also need to be careful when it comes to what we smoke. So we just don't smoke with anyone. I'd say rather ask what's in there, or if you're not too sure about what they're smoking, rather say, you know what, it's fine. I'll rather watch you guys make another round or another scape or another joint, so that you see what exactly they're smoking. Because sometimes you could find that they were smoking weed, and you are allergic to weed, or you're just not in favor for weed. So yeah, so I think it's best. That's what it basically does. It attracts girls and boys, and in public. Yeah, that's how a lot of guys sometimes, when they get to a party and then like they wait in their own circle, and they know girls will come to them and they'll start talking to them, and they get their numbers, and one thing leads to another if they know how to talk. And yeah, you get it, miss. And it also, as stated, it attracts girls, so it makes them look cool as well, as though like these guys banal style is for style. So yeah. So another question that I've gotten is, I've once got from a friend, is how do you get hooked on hobby? I think this is something that a lot of people are hit without actually noticing. Are hit as though like as in like they are addicted to it without actually noticing. You find at times that um, when you smoke this thing on a daily basis, say for instance you smoke every day, and you smoke three joints meaning that every after meal, say for instance you eat your breakfast and you go chill outside and you smoke, your lunch the same thing, and your dinner the same thing, it becomes a habit and you become addicted to it. Alright? Uh, there are people who say who wanna be who say nah, I beg to differ, but it's fine. You can differ. I'm telling you based on my experience. Yeah. Um. So a lot of times, sometimes you get addicted because of without actually knowing. Say for instance, when are you not willing? You weren't even thinking about it, but a friend or a family comes in and say, let's make a joint, and at, like, and the thing is like with hub is that it creates conversations. So they say let's make a joint, and they make a joint, and then you start smoking. Now because the conversation is so heated, you they request that they make another joint, and you say okay, sharp, I'll join along, and then you know they made another one and another one. At the end of the day, you'll find that you smoked five joints by yourself, and when you get home, you'll be like, "Ish, I had a nice session. I wish I could have another one." So I think that's some of the ways that you can also uh, get hooked to it. When you smoke it on a daily basis. So what do I like about Habli? As stated, okay, what did I like? Past tense, ne? Past tense. I like the fact that it killed time. As I've mentioned, it kills time, girls, and it creates group conversations. So when you're in a group and you start smoking habli, while you're waiting on your habli, a conversation starts while the habli is cooking and everyone's busy smoking. It becomes nice. Right? So that's the benefit of it, I'd say. Ne? But the thing is, like, it becomes very addictive. Right? But here's the thing. Ne? There's so many side effects of habli, ne? Or should I say hookah? There's so many side effects that hookah emits that we tend to overlook and say, it's nothing, it's nothing, it's nothing. Ne? Number one, ne? Guys, the headache. Ne? The headache is horrible. Like, you get a massive, massive headache. I know someone who always had headaches and they always bought Gramp. Like, the guy actually bought that box. You see that box that has, like, I don't know how many Grampas inside. That guy actually bought some, né? Because he was so addicted. He's so addicted to it that he actually buys Grampa on the side because he can actually not live without that Grampa, because he knows that after smoking he'll need to drink grandpa. So it gave him bad headaches. Alright? And till this day he's still smoking. Fair, but I just feel as though if something does that to you, then you need to rethink. Rethink. Yeah. There are people who reported dizziness, of which I'm one of them, especially on hot days. Say, for instance, it's a hot day and I'm smoking. The moment, say, for instance, okay, I'm smoking and I'm sitting down. The moment I stand up, guys, let me tell you, the moment say, for instance, it's a hot day, I'm sitting down. The moment I stand up, it's like that's when blood starts rushing around your body and stuff like that. And you remember that your blood will be filled with that smoke and stuff like that. Like, you feel super dizzy, super dizzy, guys. To a point that you feel as though like you are about to black out, like you're about to fall. So it's dangerous if something makes you feel that. Another thing is that it creates mucus build up. Like, you find a lot of times that you are constantly what do you call this? You constantly having to cough up saliva, and it's you can actually feel your throat. That something's blocking your throat. And I can understand because your body's kind of like reacting against it, saying it's like when you're sleeping and when you sleep and you have your mouth open. When you wake up in the morning, you feel as though like there's something blocking your throat, which is saliva that actually is there to block anything that from actually coming in during your sleep. So what happened is that because when you're sleeping, you attract dust and stuff like that when you're inhaling. So that saliva that blocks on your throat just protects you against anything hazardous that could actually enter your system or your throat. So there's a lot of saliva or mucus that actually stains on your throat. Alright? Another thing is, let's have a look. Blocked nose. There are people who are constantly, or actually, let me actually say me. I've once had, not only once, actually numerous times. I've been having blocked nose after smoking happened, or hookah. And another thing is that one of the things that recently happened, and I'd never had before, was that after I was smoking this happily at a chillers, yeah, and my nose started bleeding out of nowhere. Yeah. No one hit me. It was a very warm environment. It was okay, like, and I wasn't drinking, but mind you, and I started bleeding. I was like, okay, this is not normal. All of a sudden, all right. So yeah, and another thing, guys, ne, this one is not. I don't know, ne, but I feel as though this thing um makes your mind think slow, or actually what you call this, it creates a low thinking capacity, meaning that, like, have you ever thought of doing something and the moment you smoke that hub, like, it's like you start delaying it, or you don't know how to do it anymore, or you just say, whatever, it's not important. It's like, for instance, when you wake up early in the morning and say, I'm going to clean the house, and you start by smoking up. Trust me, you won't do anything for the rest of the day. Or you'll be up. The only thing you'll be doing is just smoking, smoking, and smoking. You don't even do your bed. Trust me. I'm not saying that I make sure that my bed is done each and every morning. That's the first thing I do before I even brush my teeth. My bed is done. Ne? So it kind of like makes you lazy. You become lazy to think about things that can actually positively affect your life. So I don't know, guys. I don't know. Another thing is hunger. This thing will force you to eat. Like, you will eat. Like, I know someone who eats about 5 times a day, yeah, because of this thing. But before, they used to eat just twice. So you'd find at times that, like, for an example, yeah, you find that you eat now, you have a meal, like a light meal, like breakfast. You have breakfast and you smoke up. Just 2 joints. After 2 joints, you are hungry again. This thing makes you hungry, as though, because, like, I think because there's so much smoke that's going into your system to a point that your brain thinks that it's food. Alright? So it quickly tries and digests whatever it is that you just ate, so that it makes way for the food that's about to come in. Alright? That's why I think you become hungry fast. So uh yeah, so you become hungry a lot. And a lot of times, now this is the worst one, a lot of people that I know, Asamu, actually, like, admitted that they had a hard time breathing. Like, I once did. I remember my chest was heavy. It's like, my chest is heavy. I can't breathe well, and I had to go outside. I was chilling with some friends inside the yard, inside the house. So I had to kind of like go outside just to get a fresh air. And going out there just made it a lot more easier, because at least that house was like full of trees. It was a very airy day that day. So I went outside and I started smoking, and at least I became a bit better. Yeah. So that's one of the things that I said. You know what? I just think, it's bad. And another thing is that it's expensive without knowing, meaning that I'm not saying, look, I know our pockets are not the same. I understand. Some people can afford it, some people can't. But one thing I can tell you is that this thing is expensive, ne? And like, for instance, an amaranth flavor is 35 rand, and charcoal is around 15 rand, so it makes it $50. Ne? And on average, a lot of people will smoke the whole thing in one day. So you can imagine that in 10 days, you've spent close to 500 rand on smoking, just on smoking, which is way more than even cigarettes. Because people who buy cigarettes will buy sharp, and sharp is around by 20 rand, 20 rand, and that's it. But this thing is expensive, guys. It's super expensive. And you should see people who are craving this thing, guys. You should see them. People who are craving this thing will do anything to have a joint. Like you could tell that these people want to smoke. That they'll do anything. Yo, like they'll even should change somebody, or they'll should change their parents just to have to buy something. Or say for instance their parents gave them money to buy 2 loaves of bread and a cold drink. They'll say nah, we'll just buy the one and then we'll buy material and we can smoke. You can imagine how people, what lengths people go to get this thing. And I've noticed something, and it's something that's new. I don't know whether it's new or it's what. There are, I think each and every market adjusts to what people can afford, né? And they create products that so that products that can actually meet each and every person's need, né, or affordability. They've created these new flavors, né? They are called my 10. My 10 meaning that it's a 10 rand flavor. Remember initially I said a flavor is 35 rand. Né? They have created a my 10 flavor. I just don't have a sample of it, but these Indians have that they sell it. That the Indians that sell, they have it. I'm not being racist about Indians. Not I'm just mean like this Pakistanis, the people who sell these groceries. I'm not specifically mentioning them as being bad people. No, guys, they are awesome people. But I know that they majority normally will get them. Ne? So there is a new flavor called my 10. So my 10 is basically a 10 rand flavor, and I think it just makes about 2 joints. Ne? Hey guys, 2 joints. That's all it makes. And people are buying it like crazy. Like you find someone who just smokes alone, they'll just buy my 10, and they'll just buy 5 tablets of those 5 tablets. And I know a lot of times they sell 5 tablets. They actually, like nowadays they actually cut the, remember that a packet has 10 tablets, and nowadays they halve it, so you get 5 tab you can actually buy 5 tablets because it's halved. Or one for, I think they, a lot of times they tend to sell it for 5 rand, or depending on the type of charcoal you're getting, but 5 rand. So you can imagine with 15 rand plus, maybe let's say with 16 rand, because you're also gonna need foil. So with 16 rand you can smoke nowadays. Okay? So from 50 rand they understood that this thing is becoming expensive. People are no longer keeping up. So they take it from 15 rand, from 50 rand, and they halved it, and they made a flavor that's 10 rand. They made a charcoal that's 5 rand, 5 bullets or 5 tablets of charcoal that's 5 rand, and they made a foil 1 rand. You can now buy a foil in singles, which is 1 rand, and you get your full set, your material ready to go for buy 16 rand, and you smoke. So nowadays it becomes so easy to a point that every day when they say go buy 2 loaves, you buy one, and you buy my 10 and the charcoal and the foil every day. So you don't have to struggle anymore to get $50. Now it's easy. So that's how these people are actually like onto us. So yeah, guys, I think this thing is addictive. People are doing things, extreme things to get happy, guys. People will come up to you and say, "Joe, meaning that I crave to smoke." And when someone says that I crave to smoke, it means that they're addicted to something. They want a fix. So this thing, people do go for fixes. So what I'd suggest is, guys, look, up until you're an adult, but if you're a parent and you're looking at this, I'd say discourage your child from actually smoking this thing up until they're 18 and plus. At least by 18 and plus, they're adults and they know what they're getting themselves into. Because as I mentioned, this thing lowers your thinking capacity. So at school, say for instance, you smoke in the morning before you go to school, it lowers your thinking capacity. When you get there, your brain is just something else. And I remember there was a study that was made about thinking about people who smoke. That it kind of like for very short space period of time, some people was a prolonged period of time that their thinking capacity went down. Like they couldn't exercise, they couldn't actually exercise their brain or participate in active conversations as they did when they didn't smoke. So I'd say, look, as an adult, you have the choice to make your own. You have it's your own decision to make whether you smoke or not. But for someone who's under 18, guys, I'd say let's be realistic about this thing. It's not good. It is not good, and let's at least try and control it and let them finish school first and let them decide further if they want to continue or not. Or at least let them finish school and let them get good grades. I'm not saying that this thing will make you fail at school. No, I'm just saying that let's get them onto the right track. Then after school, then you know that they adults, they more than welcome to buy whatever it is they want. Because honestly speaking, we live in South Africa, my guys. You know that 16-year-olds, 13-year-olds are smoking this thing. And they go into spaza shops, they buy them, and without actually no one monitoring them. So, and they go to the parks behind something and they go smoke. So it's easy to find this thing. And for the mere fact that, as I've mentioned, that we sugarcoat this thing, we don't really tell it as it is, that this thing is addictive. Our parents don't really know much about it. So it's a good thing that we actually like spread the word and tell them just this thing is addictive, just like a cigarette is. So that we can actually have a society that just is a lot more responsible when it comes to deciding whether they want to smoke or not. So yeah, I think that's my 2 cents today on the topic of hookah. Just tell me what you think, guys. Look, this is only my third. I'm on my third video, uh, and look, I'm not a pro on this thing. I'm just sharing my thought. So I'd like to hear your guys' feedback on this. So thank you. Oh, and by the way, guys, as stated that it's a new channel, I'd like for you guys if you could leave a subscribe. Just press on the subscribe button. It's for free, and it helps me a lot to grow, so that I can actually continue bringing content like this to you guys, and also hit the like button as well, so that it can be shared to a lot of people. And you can also share it with your friends, and let them come here and comment and tell me that I'm talking nonsense. But yeah, it's as I mentioned, I'm a smoker myself, so it's from my perspective. This does not. It's not a general thing. It's just my perspective. But anyway, please enjoy and have a blessed one. And goodbye. Cheers.